Hey everyone, welcome, and if you're new here, it's good to see you on the channel. So I'm always looking for suggestions on what to do the next Assetto Corsa video on, and today I'm going to do a video that one of my subscribers, 10,000, otherwise known as Norton, asked me to do, and that is the most difficult cars to drive in Assetto Corsa. And guys, there are a few of them. As ever, if you do like the video and you do like the channel, click on that subscribe button, it really helps me to grow. Okay then, what we're going to do is we're going to do the first part, because there's going to be two videos to this, the first part of the hardest cars to drive on Assetto Corsa. And to do this, I've picked a track that I think is one of the best tracks in the UK, and that is Cadwell Park. Now I've actually driven this in my Fiesta ST a few years ago, which was a lot of fun. It's got some great turns, great curves, very fast straights, some amazing chicanes, lots of elevation change. Just to point out, I'm going to try and drive all these cars as fast as possible, and if you wait till the end of the video, there's some fantastic crash compilations and also some of my fastest laps that I could do with these cars. Okay guys, the first car up is the Porsche 935/78, otherwise known as Moby Dick. So guys, this is from 1978, 845 brake horsepower, it weighs just over 1,000 kilograms, it is an absolute monster of a car. And what makes this car difficult to drive is the way that the power comes on. So up to about 4,000 RPM, it's doing maybe 200-250 brake horsepower, and then in the next 2,000 RPM it surges to 800 brake horsepower. It is really tricky to drive. As all these cars on this video show, throttle control is the biggest thing. I did try and drive a few of these on the keyboard, impossible. The on and off key is not going to work for this. So these have all got lots of throttle control on them. And also this car, it handles very well. It was actually based on a 911. So even though it looks a little bit different from a 911 with the extended bodywork, this is known as the fastest 911 ever produced. So I am trying to drive these cars as fast and as well as possible. This is on my G29 and my sim rig. Guys, I'm going to challenge you as well that get Cadwell Park, the link's in the description below. It's a great track, and drive some of these cars for yourself. It's a great challenge for you. Okay, let's move on to the next car. This car should be on everybody's list for the hardest car to drive, and this is the Auto Union Type C. Now this is by Gary Patterson, and again I'll put the link to the cars in the description below guys for you. This is from 1937. This car has 520 brake horsepower, it only weighs 750 kilograms. That makes this car very fast. This will do well over 200 miles an hour, and it is petrifying to drive. You can probably see on the gameplay that I'm keeping the revs around 2,000 to 3,000. There's a reason for that, in that all the power is low down, and that's what makes it so difficult to drive. Skinny tyres, this car has almost zero braking, and to drive this in 1937 at the speeds that people would have been, must have been, like I say, absolutely petrifying. So I think I've done a good job of driving on here. I have put a bit of a faster lap at the end of the video, so do check that out, and I would challenge any of you to drive this fast around Cadwell Park. It's great fun. Up next then is the awesome Ferrari 312T. This is from 1975, 495 brake horsepower, over 300 Newton meters of torque. This car, guys, weighs just over 600 kilograms, which is hardly anything, and you can see from this footage and gameplay how little there is inside the cockpit. Nuts and bolts. This is how it was in 1975. So the T in the 312T was because of the transversal gearbox and a 90-degree angle to the engine. So by doing this, this car became very compact, with a compact engine and improved weight distribution. So this made this a very fast and agile car, but this is very nervous to drive on the limit, which is why this car is on the list. The big thing with this car is throttle response yet again. So again, driving this on the pedal, you are really feathering the throttle all the time to try and keep it on the track. You can feel the back wheels wanting to move all the time. The power transfer is actually quite constant through the rev range, so that's good. And I'll let you into a secret, guys, I really enjoy driving this car. It's very difficult to drive, but I put some good laps in this car on Cadwell and it felt really satisfying. So another great challenge for your driving skill. And guys, this is a KUNOS car, so make sure it's in your library, it's an essential. Here we have a partial lap of Cadwell just to show you the sense of speed and exactly how this car drives when you start to push it. So that's the 312T, an absolutely awesome car. So we've seen some great cars so far, but now for something completely different. And that is the Mercedes-Benz C9 Sauber 1989 LM. This is an absolute classic on Assetto Corsa. Just to shout out, this is a KUNOS car, but I think it's in one of the download packs, so you will need to purchase this as one of the packs. But it is a stunning car. This car is from 1989, as I've said, and it's 750 plus brake horsepower, 500 Newton meters of torque, and it weighs only 900 kilograms. That's about half the size of your family estate car, guys. Top speed on this monster is classed as 380 kilometers an hour, but actually, because this is a Le Mans car and it was in the Le Mans race in 1989, this actually did down the Mulsanne straight 398 kilometers per hour, an absolute monster. I did also say that this is 750 plus brake horsepower, so because of the turbo that's on these cars and on this engine, you can adjust it obviously through the races. So this can run as low as 710 brake horsepower, only 710, with 50% boost, but put it in 100% boost and you're getting well over 900 brake horsepower. This car was also designed because of the speeds it can do with immense downforce, very important on the Le Mans. So you're probably asking them, why is it so difficult to drive? Well, the sheer power of this car, the weight of it, the power to weight ratio is stunning, and it's all about trying to get that power down on the tarmac. This car, I feathered the throttle more on this car than any of the other cars that I was driving, and you can see the back end was still all over the place. So much fun, definitely an essential download for your Assetto Corsa library. Okay then, so we're on to the last car in the list, and this is an absolute humdinger. This is the Lotus 98T, and this is from 1985/86. Guys, this is the car. This is one of the hardest cars in this whole list. I've actually left a lot of in-cockpit view on the gameplay here, so you can just see the sense of speed and how that rev counter just goes crazy at all levels of RPM. So let me give you some of the stats on this crazy car. So this was 1000 plus brake horsepower. I'll come back to that part in a moment. It had 800 plus Newton meters, only weighed 523 kilograms. So again, to put that in context, most family hatchbacks, estate cars, 1500 to 2000 kilograms. This is a quarter of that, and the driver probably weighed 70 kilograms in this car. So an insanely light car. So you've got an insanely light car, you've also got 1000 plus brake horsepower. So why can't we be more specific on that? Well, this is a 1.5 litre turbo engine, but the kicker is that this has got 4 psi boost. That's an absolutely insane amount. So when this was actually designed and ran, the manufacturer test beds could not measure the amount of brake horsepower that this produced. So I'm going to say that again, their test beds could not measure the brake horsepower. From information that we do have, most F1 historians think that this car was rated probably at 1200 to 1300 brake horsepower. So an insane amount of brake horsepower that you're trying to keep on the ground, and it weighs 500 kilograms. As you can see, there's a lot of fun to be had. Now the other thing with this car, not only have you got all that to contend with, you also have the delivery of power and the power curve. Well, I say it's a curve, it's more of an enormous step. So up to about 4000 RPM, the engine's not doing anything. From 4500 up to about 7000, the brake horsepower actually jumps by about 600 brake horsepower. but then it doesn't really flatten off because then all the torque comes in. So this car, when you see it going up and down these straights on Cadwell, the way that it revs and the way it works on the top end, it is literally insane. So I've put some good lap times in here. Do have a play with this car, guys. It is absolutely loads of fun, and this is a KUNOS car again, so very famous car. I think in this part 1 video, this is probably my favourite, and I really enjoyed driving it. So just enjoy this bit of gameplay footage. So as I said at the beginning of the video, there were a few crashes as well as all these hysterical wobbles, high speed wobbles. So just take a look at some of these crashes. Now that I've shown you the bad bits, let me show you some of the good bits. So on this bit of gameplay, I'm really pushing through these cars as hard as I can. And again, I'm not trying to crash on any of the other footage, but this is where I got it right and I've had a bit of practice with the cars. So just check this out and see what you could do on Cadwell Park with these cars. Those then were some of the best laps I did on these most difficult cars to drive. Now this is part 1 video, guys. I have got another 4 or 5 cars to show you, so I'm going to drop that video out in the next few weeks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do remember to check out my channel. I've got lots more Assetto Corsa on there, guides, tutorials, and lots of other gameplay footage that you can watch. As ever, if you do like the video and you like the channel, do subscribe. It really helps me to grow the channel, and I'd love to have you on board if you're new. See you soon, guys.